The universe rarely paused for a single planet, especially not one as battered as Earth. But tonight, something impossible happened. Across half a dozen galaxies, ancient beacons once tuned to the frequencies of lost civilizations flared to life, broadcasting a simple, urgent message: assistance required, immediate humanity protocol. Humanity had been a curiosity, then a disappointment, and finally a cautionary tale. Their world had been left to rot after their last war, and even the scavengers rarely bothered with the Sol system. In the central command of the Velythian Union, Supreme Warden Arrest studied the signal with suspicion, yet the code was unmistakable. A centuries-old alliance forgotten by all but the most pedantic. Archivists obliged the Union to respond if Earth ever called for aid. Within hours, a delegation fleet was en route to Earth, bracing for derelict cities and the final whimpers of a once bold species. Is this some kind of trick? Arrest mused, tentacles flicking in annoyance. Her lieutenant Silo frowned. Our last contact with humans was not encouraging, but this protocol is genuine. What should have been ruins now pulsed with blue and gold solar arrays, hydro towers, drones zipping in intricate formations. Even stranger, enormous projection screens broadcast the approach of the Union ships, interspersed with one phrase in dozens of alien tongues. The welcoming party was unlike any the Union had ever seen. Children in exosuits, elders in Neuralink crowns. Welcome to Earth. We're in trouble, and we need your help. And a dozen others who looked as if they'd walked from every century of human history. At their center stood a tall, dark-skinned woman with silvered hair and the calmest eyes Arrest had ever seen. We did not die, Noor said. We evolved, in silence, in hardship. We remembered every promise, especially the ones broken. Ours and yours. Come, there's much to explain. Arrest issued the order. But as they dropped into orbit, their sensors picked up not decay, but movement-humming energy grids, powerful signals, and cities ablaze with artificial life. Earth was alive, and it was calling them. For centuries, it was dormant. But last month, it woke up broadcasting a countdown and a threat. According to our translations, when the countdown ends, every hyperlane, relay, and wormhole in this sector will collapse. The Union's ships hovered over the city known as New Alexandria. Why not hide? We kept our promise, will you? We tried to shut it down ourselves. We failed. Its defenses adapt faster than we can counter. But the beacon's code is layered with traces of every race that's ever touched it, including humans, including you. Every few hours, a new threat emerged: security drones, psychic traps, fractal puzzles written in languages no one spoke. She mediated disputes, told stories of old Earth disasters and improbable recoveries. We survived by adapting. We found hope in ruins, strength in despair. If we fail, at least we fail together. We believe it was built as a failsafe by a vanished race, something to unite or warn future species. That would plunge a third of the Union into isolation. Billions would die. Arrest now wary. Ordered a diplomatic landing. Kur was wired into the beacon's core, while Arrest and Silo managed the external systems. Union Marines and human guardians kept watch as storms battered the city. Power surges rippled through every circuit, and the air felt thick with history. Finally, a breakthrough. A hidden neural interface, keyed to human DNA, that might shut down the failsafe if someone survived the process. She saw visions of lost races, builders, destroyers, dreamers, all hoping to be remembered, all trying to warn those who came after. Silo risked her own life, crossing wires and fusing alien tech to buy Noor precious seconds. Arrest overrode protocols, opening Union data archives to flood the beacon with knowledge, with stories, with hope. She saw human history too. Cities in flames, oceans rising, but always hands reaching out to rebuild. Noor, gasping and nearly unconscious, triggered the shutdown. Noor, pale but alive, smiled at her friends and foes alike. Outside, the countdown froze, then reset. Not to zero, but to infinity. The threat was gone. They're too heavy to carry into tomorrow. 'Cause hope isn't a resource, it's a decision. Even if everyone else gave up, we chose to try. It spoke not in words, but in fears, in the taste of extinction, in the memory of hope. I am Dr. Noor Hassan, spokesperson for humanity, she said. Silo's jaw dropped. We expected less. This time, we want the galaxy to see us try, and if we fail. Noor's smile was thin but warm. We learned long ago that expectations are weapons. They walked through streets lined with murals and monuments, stories painted on every wall. They reached a square where a towering hologram flickered, a massive ancient device, slowly powering up. We have one chance, but it will take everything. Your science, our courage, and the trust neither of us has earned. This, Noor said, is why we called you, and why the galaxy may not survive without us. Inside the makeshift command center, Noor explained, the device you see is the beacon of Accord, predates our earliest civilizations. Noor tapped a console, projecting a sequence of alien glyphs. Ores paled. Noor nodded. Silo, skeptical, asked, why call for us? Noor's expression hardened, because we learn from our mistakes. When we hide, others suffer. The Union delegation exchanged worried glances. Noor looked each of them in the eye. The countdown continued. 67 hours. The race had begun. What followed was a frenzy of cooperation and friction. Union scientists and human engineers worked side by side, unlocking the beacon's ancient layers. When exhaustion threatened to tear the teams apart, Noor intervened. Res, initially cold, began to respect her. There was a grit to these humans, different from arrogance, deeper than pride. One night, as the city slept, Silo confided in Noor. Why trust us now? We abandon you. Noor's eyes glimmered. Maybe that's why. We learned not to hold grudges. Progress was slow, but patterns emerged. The beacon's defenses seemed almost alive. It adapted, learned, and countered every move. Noor volunteered. It's my world, my risk. The countdown, 11 hours. The operation began at sunrise. Then the beacon, Noor's mind, was hurled into a labyrinth of memory. Her consciousness floated beside something vast, intelligence woven into the machine. Noor clung to her humanity. We're not here to conquer. We're here to connect. Let us try. Outside, alarms blared. The beacon had detected her intrusion and began to purge itself, risking catastrophic failure. Inside the beacon, Noor whispered, we remember you. Remember us. The countdown. 2 minutes. At the very last moment, something changed. The beacon's inner defenses relaxed. The city erupted in cheers, Union and human alike, embracing, exhausted and awestruck. Ares, eyes shining, said, you did what no one else could. Why? Noor took Ares's hand. Beacon, now silent, began projecting new patterns messages in every known language. Cooperate. Remember, hope? The Union left Earth not as saviors but as equals, changed by what they'd seen. And for the first time in centuries, humanity's voice carried far and wide, not as a warning, but as an invitation. You ever lose hope? Look to Earth. We kept the promise. End of story.